Yes, yes.
Another week, another exciting week in the world of sports. It's going to be an NBA heavy day today.
Okay. I'm
So,
with it.
lot to discuss. But first, I want to thank everybody, man, for hitting all of the social sites, subscribing, liking, and sharing all of the YouTube videos and shorts, watching the lives, interacting with us on the social media sites. That is very much appreciated. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And when you hit that bell notification, hit all so that you are notified not only when we go live, but also when we post new shorts, new videos, and new content in general.
Thanks for the love, y'all.
Yes, we really appreciate it. Coming up on 40,000 views for the channel, which is major. That's major movement in the few weeks that we have been reconstituted. So we cannot thank you enough. And again, we appreciate your continued support. We got some great announcements that we're gonna be making here in the not too distant future about merchandising. So stay tuned for that. Keep checking the social sites, keep checking the YouTube because we'll make an official announcement about it as well. But moving on to this week in sports.
Well, you forgot to introduce yourself, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm Jason Flake, my co-host Lance Reynolds, aka the People's Champ.
Yes,
Man,
indeed.
I did forget I had so much business to deal with it
It
at
be
the
like that
beginning.
sometimes. It be like that sometimes.
um, Man, let's talk. Obviously, there's a couple of topics of the day. Number one, the NBA draft lottery,
Oh,
where the NBA played in everybody's face and gave the Dallas Mavericks the number one pick. Let's not parse words.
right.
Um, they had a 1.8% chance to get the um, number one pick. That's like a 1 in 50 chance. I could name several things that you got a 1 in 50 chance of achieving in a lifetime. And a lot of them are, not necessary. I mean, they're not unrealistic goals, but I'll spare you that anecdote. But you know, that's all I really have to say. The NBA they need to dispense with the lottery process,
I agree.
or at least not make it public, because you're really playing in everybody's
I
face.
mean, well, definitely don't make it a televised event.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like
Like, I
that's
don't need to see it.
like I mean, like they make an event out of it, like
Yeah.
special programming.
'Cause,
And,
they used to do the balls and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
At
yeah,
least
yeah,
they
yeah.
stopped that.
Yeah, that was real weak.
At
Like
least,
they tried turkey beat it out over a month. Like, all right, now we picked the balls
no,
today.
no, shut up.
Now join us a month from now
Yeah, like,
for the actual lottery. Yeah,
so they had two balls out of every 100. Less than two balls out of every
yeah,
100.
1.8 balls.
Yeah, and they won the draft lottery. So yeah, they played in our face. They threw Nico Harrison a bone because everybody been talking about him and ridiculing him. And now they will have Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
I'll take your thoughts on it though.
I mean, again, we're the fools.
Right.
You
We
know,
should have saw that coming.
we should have saw. I know that's how I felt. As it was unfolding live, I was like, wow, I can't believe like this shit's really about to go down like this.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. It was like the end of a Scooby Doo episode.
Right.
Like, so it was a red herring. And because the articles were out with the fallout
Yeah.
from the Luca trade and
Sure. Yeah.
season ticket holders canceling.
Mm-hmm.
They were projecting losses in like the nine figures,
Mm-hmm.
over the next coming years.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas is a fairly big, is a fairly large market,
Yeah.
and you factor in, a player like Luca leaving, and obviously what left with him.
Sure.
But it was crazy. I don't know where I was looking. I don't know if it was on social media or YouTube or something, but it was like since 2011,
Yeah.
um, every team that traded like their star player ended up getting like the number one pick in the draft. Like it was like
Wow.
it was like Chris Paul in 2011,
Hmm.
and then it was like AD, and then for like Zion,
Oh yeah, that's right.
um, it was LeBron,
Yeah, I know LeBron. Yeah, he left,
and
but
then like Kyrie.
hmm
I mean, it was like it went down the line.
yeah,
It was crazy. I was like, damn.
yeah. I mean, this is not even tinfoil Kofi work. This is
Yeah,
systematic. It's
yeah.
like
It was
we
like
see
I said. The thing about it was the glaring, um, the
pattern.
glaring, yeah, the
Yeah,
glare,
there's a pattern of behavior.
and how I missed it and how I
Yeah,
didn't see it coming. I said, dang, I was sold on. I'm like Cooper Flag, like you say, you was feeling Philadelphia. I
yeah,
was thinking DC. I was
yeah.
like, they gonna go corny, cheesy, easy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they said, no, 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 no,
Right.
no, 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 no. We create the hysteria.
Yes, of course.
You know what I mean? To manipulate all of you fools behind the scenes. So it was the long game play
Yeah.
where they've been creating, this news and story all the way up until
So let me
Monday
ask
night.
you, man, because I think that universally everybody feels like you played in our face.
Yeah.
You decided that the Mavericks would get the number one pick, as opposed to allowing a lottery process where they would have virtually no chance to actually play out. But let me ask you about the timeline, because that's the only discrepancy
Okay.
is when did they decide that they would allow Dallas to get the number one pick? Now, like you said, there's an established pattern of behavior when teams trade their star player, they end up getting that number one pick. So do you think they decided at the outset of the Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis talks? Or do you think that somebody was like, man, this is getting ugly. Let us throw Dallas a bone and make sure that they get the number one pick? Because what we not gonna do on the Everybody Has One podcast is pretend like, oh, it was great. The balls end up falling they way. No, no, no. Somebody decided this. This is obviously something that someone decided. So when do you think the decision was made?
When Kyrie went down.
Okay. So you think that it was
Because
post trade,
yeah, I
but when
think
Kyrie went out
yeah,
permanently, they was like,
yeah.
we got to get Dallas
When
back
Kyrie
right.
because I think when Kyrie went down, the situation became irreparable and salvageable.
Yeah.
There was nothing you could do.
Yeah.
There was no chance of Kyrie playing Superman. No chance of him and AD establishing any type of chemistry
That's
going
right.
forward. So they just kind of torpedoed it, and they said, "You know what?
Right.
I've got the solution here, boys. Look,
Yeah.
we still got Luka in LA. Check.
Right.
What we'll do, you guys, even if you get in the play in,
Yeah.
just get, stay at 10.
Yeah.
Just stay at 10. Stay at 10, we'll work it out.
Right.
So that's that's my tinfoil Kofi,
Yeah.
diagnosis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's the gospel for sure. That's what went down. But
Yeah.
if I
That's as good a
like if
it's as good a theory
in
as
my
any.
mind, that's the only thing that I could come up with seeing how that played out.
Yeah, see, I think that it actually took place later on. I'm one of these that I think that they saw the fall after the fallout, after Nico Harrison is up here giving press conferences that nobody asked him for, after they saw these valuations where the actual value of the franchise is going to be
Right.
hurt.
Right.
I think that, somebody in the front office said, wait a minute. Let's just make sure that they get the number one pick. Make sure they get Cooper Flag there.
Right.
Mend the fences with the fan base and the season ticket holders who were disinterested, as opposed to, because for a while they kind of let
But
Nico
let me keep
Harrison
my
flounder.
Kofi on. Maybe that's why, like a guy that, again, we assume, we're going to confidently assume Nico Harrison, bright, intelligent
Of
guy.
course, absolutely.
So
You don't get to be
maybe
a
the reason
executive
why
like that.
he's still doing these interviews in the midst of this burning house
Right.
is because he knows, they've decided
yeah, that
that
they
the
gonna throw
play
him the
is
ball.
going down. Like maybe, like I said, if we going full blown
Yeah,
Koofy,
yeah.
tinfoil Koofy conspiracy, and we gotta get those made.
The tinfoil
Yeah,
koofies.
we gotta get those made. We gotta get trademark dibs on that.
Man, let's let's shift gears
Let
to
us know what y'all think in the comments too.
Yeah,
with,
man,
with the
about the
whole,
tinfoil.
with the
Yeah, with the Dallas, the
with the lottery,
timeline.
the conspiracy. It was actually on the to the day, the 40th anniversary of the original Get Down, the Patrick Ewing.
Oh, okay.
The New York Knicks get the #1 pick for Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
And everyone called out the BS then.
Of course.
In
I mean,
'85. So
It's been blatant.
right. So
Because I think after LeBron left Cleveland the first time, they got two of the next
LeBron
next number one
LeBron
picks.
was on the Pat McAfee show saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We all know it's rigged.
Yeah.
I leave Kyrie. He said he named off a couple of other teams
Yeah.
when he did the McAfee interview.
But here's a hot take, man. LeBron should dispense with the long form interviews until after he retires. Now, I hate to lob that grenade and
That's
and-
not a hot take. Like that's anyone that's like got 2 ears and common sense. Like,
Yeah.
dude, every time he speaks for an extended amount of
Yeah.
time, he gives
says
all his naysayers just material
Oh,
to
my
have
God.
at it with him.
I'm like, man, that's legacy damaging, bro. Stop damaging your legacy with these proclamations.
Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, that's it, man. Long form interviews, that's for after I retire, man. I'll sit down with whomever, whenever.
Or go on talk shows where your friends aren't hosting it and they can kind of guide you a little bit in the conversation. You get what I'm saying?
Just stop him. Nobody's guiding anybody, dog. Like he's too rich,
You've
been
been
too
doing
rich
it
for
all
too long.
together,
Yeah,
like,
dog.
just go away.
Just stop. Yeah, dog. Just don't do it no more, man. But let's shift gears, man. Jason Tatum ruptured Achilles. That was kind of telegraphed
Yeah,
at the time of. I'm sorry to see that for him. He was actually cooking in that game, playing great, being the Jason Tatum that we always expect to see. So we wishing him obviously a speedy recovery. But what do you think that means for Boston? Because a ruptured Achilles, if I'm not mistaken, next season would be in doubt, right? If for a tear or a rupture at this time.
Yeah, he's looking, I think they say like 8 to 9 months.
Yeah. So next season is in doubt.
So what's this? We are
In
pretty
May.
much June, middle.
Yeah.
Well, we middle of May, smack dab middle of May.
Yeah.
So yeah, October. The season starts now in the middle of October.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Yeah, that's 4 months from now, and then you're talking about another 4 or 5
so we're
months.
talking
after that.
March.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At early.
At the early, we're being generous. Hopefully, hell, Jason, I hope it's January.
I do too. And I hope you can do
pull
something
a Adrian
miraculous.
Peterson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, do something miraculous. But let me ask you, what does that mean for Boston?
To me, it means that Jaylen Brown's got to earn that $300 million.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
we're gonna see what it's about.
Okay.
Have you been working on that left?
Yeah.
Have you been working on that dribble package?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
like
Yeah.
I'm speaking like on a basketball.
Yeah, no,
court,
no.
you
Yeah,
know what
that's
I'm saying?
absolutely
Not
right.
Like, you can't out dribble Jaylen Brown, no shit. But
Right.
what I'm saying, like in terms of how NBA defenses attack him,
Sure.
yeah, it's gonna be a brighter glaring light
On him.
on either the deficiencies or improvements.
Correct.
You
Okay.
know, I think Peyton Pritchard long term is capable.
Yeah. So you
like-
think he gets that spot? They slide everything down.
Peyton Pritchard's capable. Now, I mean,
Yeah.
are they going to be gang busting top of the East? But I think they can definitely middle around.
4 or
You-
5 seed.
Yeah,
ish.
like
Yeah.
between 4 and 6.
Okay.
I can see that
Yeah.
with Jaylen. If Jaylen Brown's who now, what do they do with Porzingis?
Right.
You know,
Well, see, this is the
and
thing.
Al Horford. I mean,
Yeah.
Al, we love you.
Yeah, he our age though.
Al, we love you.
You getting up there. Yeah, it just depends on, hey man, listen, Father Time, as they say proverbially, is undefeated.
And I understand you're not gonna make that kind of money, and they giving it away in the NBA.
Hey,
So I understand.
We were just talking about that yesterday off the air. Yeah, no, I mean, listen,
You know, I understand, but if we're
Udonis
talking,
Haslam sat at the end of that bench for many years.
man,
though.
what
He sat down there for many years.
culture
Because,
guys?
hey, man, listen, because
Shout out to the
it's
culture
hard to go
guys.
find another paycheck like that one.
Yeah, for real. From 22 to 42,
Yeah.
man, please. So
Yep.
I get it, but if we're talking about competing for a title, Al Horford, you know, it's time to put a suit on if you love the team that much.
Right.
You
Yeah.
the real rap. They'll take
no
you.
doubt.
Like if you love the Boston Celtics that much, you know, put a polo on and
And
contribute
head on
that way.
upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I think that's where they are. I think they can still be competitive and, you know, depending on where Tatum's at and when he's back, you know, kind of take it from there. But I think that opens up the East even more for, you know, our Detroit Pistons, which is great
Absolutely.
news.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I hate for it to be at the expense
Yeah.
of Jason Tatum's Achilles. So again, you know, speedy recovery to him.
Absolutely. And then in the short term, I'll follow that up. In the short term, you think Boston can come back and win this series? You know, you think that's out of the question without Jason Tatum? I think it's going to be it was a steep hill to climb with Jason Tatum. I'm not sure, but give me your thoughts.
Tomorrow, New York, I think it's over.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
I
I mean,
tend to agree.
they put up a good fight. And again, I mean, would I be shocked?
No, if they at least push it to 7.
Yeah, would I be shocked? But I just, you know, I just don't see it happening.
No, I'm not.
I mean, New York.
confident.
I mean, New York losing two games on their home floor. I mean, you know, the Pistons did it, but it's like, man, that'll be a telling pattern,
For them,
you
yeah.
know, for them, especially with you know, that Buzzsaw Pacers team coming, which we'll
Man,
talk
listen,
to.
I
Yeah,
think
we'll
that-
talk to in a minute. But
Yeah,
I think the Knicks close it out tomorrow.
Okay.
I do.
All right. Let's look at the Wolves and the Warriors series that just concluded yesterday. Steph Curry, obviously, he was hurt. Got hurt in with the first half of game
The
two,
first
right?
quarter.
Yeah.
The first quarter, game one.
Was it game 1? Okay.
Game one.
Okay. Yeah. So he was actually
Second
playing very-
quarter, game one.
Yeah.
13. He played 13 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So he was actually playing pretty well.
Yeah.
But that series concluded. Give me your thoughts about the Warriors, the Jimmy Butler acquisition. I thought he underwhelmed me in the last 2 games of the series. I think he failed to score 20 points. I was expecting to see playoff Jimmy show up at some point, and you know, again, another one of those 35-year-olds, and maybe, you know, maybe time is just catching up with him, because I was extremely taken aback by his under aggressiveness. And again, another sidebar. That's one of the reasons that I'm starting not to like watching with the normal commentators. That's why we gonna start fan casting. Y'all stay tuned, because when a guy like Jimmy Butler is being that under aggressive, it should be a topic of conversation with the people calling the game. Y'all shouldn't just be acting like, oh, look at Brandon Pajemski and look at no. He's conspicuous by his absence, and we need to make a point of that. And I understand that they don't want to go after players. And look, man, these are professionals. They get paid a lot of money to be on television to do their job. Man, I was very disappointed in how little they said about how under aggressive Jimmy Butler. This is what you traded for him for.
Yeah.
A situation where if Steph goes down, we not out of it. We got a second big gun. And this dude just went out there and gave you very pedestrian numbers.
Yep.
And I'm a Jimmy Butler guy. Like, the Butler did it, you know, for me. But I'm like, I was just shocked. I'm like, I expected to see Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, and we just never saw it. But I'll take your thoughts on it.
Man, the Golden State Warriors, I mean, you know, they come and go. You know, that's Steph Curry.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
that's
it's been the story pre-2010
Yep.
till now. You know, without him, they're bottom tier team.
Yeah.
With them, you got a shot.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler. First of all, let me the Golden State Warriors. Draymond Green. If you're going to guarantee a title,
Guarantee a title.
if you're going to guarantee a championship, you have to make sure that Julius Randle does not jail sex you for 3 straight games. You have to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause he
it
did.
can't be you. It can never be you. But for some reason with Draymond Green, it's always you.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Warriors coming up short. I'm talking about like when all the chips are in the middle, it's always him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
that delivers the critical blow to what they're trying to do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like Jordan Poole could have helped them last night.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
Like, I got news for you. Brandon Pajemski sucks.
I don't
Jordan Poole pisses me off, and Jordan Poole doesn't play defense. But they decided not to trade for Larry Marketing because Brandon Pajemski likes to take charges
Yeah, I mean, I
and
ain't go.
goes 9 for 40 from the field over 4 games. He sucks.
I'm not gonna say he sucked, but
He
yeah,
sucks.
listen, bro. Brandon Pajemski went because there was a time in that game. But see, that's a
He
Jimmy.
plays hard,
That's a Jimmy Butler problem.
but
though.
but no, man. They let Clay walk for Brandon Pajemski,
but
dog,
listen.
because they had in mind like, well, Brandon gonna develop.
No, hear
He
me
did-
out, though.
He stunk it up, man.
Hear me out, Doug.
Oh God.
This is what I will say for the Warriors. They went and got Jimmy Butler,
No,
so
I'm-
you
I'm
don't
gonna
have
get
to
to
watch.
Jimmy Butler.
But no,
I-
but hold
I-
on. But so that
I
you don't
heard
have to.
Brandon Pajemski and his glaring underperformance just kind of sent me down
No,
the
but
road.
but it's so that you don't have to watch Brandon Pajemski out there trying to be the alpha.
I mean, I
He
understand.
sucked when he trying to be the alpha. Brandon Pajemski
get
is a
that.
role player,
I,
bro.
I get that.
And the problem is that Jimmy Butler
Jimmy
was sitting
does
back
that.
watching
But
Brandon
Jimmy does
Pajemski.
that.
Yeah,
He was trying to make him Tyler Hero. And Brandon
Stop it,
Pajemski's
Doug.
not Tyler Hero.
no, not at all.
But
Stop,
that's
Doug.
what Jimmy does. Jimmy Butler, I was going to get to him, and Jimmy Butler fought harder to get out of Miami than he did to get to game 6
Yeah, for real.
against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Real talk. Doug.
And period, bro. You talking about he didn't get 20 points. This fool didn't get up 20 shots in 2 games combined.
Yeah.
And these are ride or die games where the objective, it wasn't even to win the series. The objective got to the point where, man, just get to game 6.
Right, yeah. And then
Get one.
Yeah, so Steph could get reevaluated and
dog.
see if you can get him back on the
Get
court.
one. Your ass kicked and screamed, running around here with the Jermaine Stewart perm, talking about you done lost your joy one week. Next week, you got lime green braids. Dude, and then you get here, and then you willing to be secondary.
Yeah, no doubt.
When it's time for you to be, like you say, the alpha, the guy.
Right.
Like, you can't be like, no, I'm robbing today. No, nigga, you got to be Batman tonight.
No, yeah. Batman
Like-
is over
like
there in
Bat-
street
Batman's
clothes. bro.
hurt,
Yeah,
dog.
he in street
Like-
clothes,
like,
bro.
no,
You must
bruh,
be
not,
Batman.
Not tonight. Look, we don't need Robin tonight. Like, put the long pants on. Don't come out here with the scaly drawers. No, Batman tonight. And the fact that he did that for like 3 out of 4 games that they needed, that was highly disappointing to me, especially when you consider the fact that the Warriors gave him $60 million
Yeah.
on top of trading for him. They gave him $60 million.
Yeah.
So to our earlier convo about the draft lottery and the trickle down from that, you know, the Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I was
wanting to
going-
explore his situation.
Yeah, I was going there.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's how we roll and how we work. Because Jimmy Butler, I feel, just like put himself in the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes in terms of
Say-
trading
say
packages
put him on-
that the Golden State Warriors
him
will
on in there.
entertain for getting Giannis. Because Joe Lacob has not made it a secret that his dream fantasy scenario is to pair Steph Curry with Giannis.
That'd be nasty.
So,
I will say that.
you know, Jimmy Butler shorting the sheets the way he did over the last like 3 out of
he
4
did.
games. You figured you jettison that $60 million,
Mm-hmm.
sign and trade Kuminga,
Yeah.
package in some other scrap parts.
Yeah, because they don't like Kuminga for I like Kuminga.
Jonathan Kuminga to me is just basically he's just the same guy he was when they drafted him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he never took a fit. where
Right.
it's like, okay, you know what? Until they decide to cave in to what I can do, I'm gonna do this elite. He never decided to do that to me. And to me, when you're a part of an organization that wins and that demands that, like it's different if Jonathan Kaminga got drafted by the Washington Wizards. Like
Yeah.
he can come in there holding them with both hands, like, hey dog, 22 shots a game. Anybody got a problem with it? I'm gonna direct you right to my ass so you can kiss it.
Right.
Like when you coming into a championship organization and you had time to pick the ear of Andre Iguodala, a Draymond, a Wiggs, those type of guys of your, similar kind of ability and player package.
Yeah.
And over 4 years, I look at you play, and he's still making the same mistakes on
Yeah.
both sides of the ball. He's still making the same decisions on both sides of the ball.
But is that not coaching though?
At the-
Does
at
do
the-
the
at-
coaches have to take some responsibility for a guy not developing?
At the end of the day, when you on the floor with the ball, when are you like thinking about the game, just playing, or thinking about the coach?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen.
Because
Of course.
because we've seen good play supersede good and bad coaching.
Yeah. But I think that just to push back on that a little bit, I think we've seen a pattern with Steve Kerr and younger players not really who have they developed from young?
Jordan Poole,
Yeah, right. And he's gone.
but that wasn't because of Jordan Poole's game. That was because somebody
Right.
leaked a video of Draymond Green knocking him
Yeah.
7 ways into the mall.
But yeah,
If that footage doesn't leak out, Jordan Poole's still there. They just gave him $120-30 million.
yeah, right. Before they traded him. But my
For
thing
Chris
is
Paul.
that I don't want to. I'm not knocking Jordan Poole, but if Jordan Poole is what you have to show for your young player development, and Steve Kerr been there what
Right.
2 decades?
Right, but I mean we're talking
mean-
but I mean Jordan Bell, I mean we talking Jordan Bell, who is it? Patrick McCall, who was a player for them when they were winning.
Yeah,
He was contributed for them, but he got
yeah. But these
Jordan
are
Bell,
journeymen.
Yeah, Jordan Bell was a wino.
I'm just like, yeah, because I
They
understand.
traded Pascal.
I understand Steph, Clay, and Draymond.
Yeah, I mean
So that's the core.
yeah,
But I'm like, in nearly 2 decades though, who's the young guy that
right.
Steve
I
Kerr has
understand.
developed?
I understand.
And I mean, and even with Jonathan Kaminga, who it to me is loaded with talent. He started this playoffs not playing. He started this playoffs out of the rotation
Yeah.
because Steve Kerr didn't like him and Jimmy Butler on the floor together. And this is not a referendum on Steve Kerr, even
It
though
can be.
yeah, I have some thoughts.
He's made some suspect decisions
Yeah.
now. But I just think, Jonathan Kaminga, I just think, a lot of the time, sometimes development comes on a player. Because
Yeah, I
here's the
agree.
thing with Jonathan Kaminga, and why I've always looked at him with a little more scrutiny,
Yeah,
because the first summer league, players from the Golden State rotation roster had to come tell him to turn it up in summer league. They was like, bro, you should be the best player here.
yeah,
You should be dominating. And it was and that always kind of stuck out to me. And this was after his rookie year,
Yeah.
where I was like, okay, this dude should be chomping at the bit. Like he should be insulted that he's in summer league, and he should be like having 30 in the first half, sitting down and chilling.
Yeah.
And the fact that vets had to come to Vegas. I mean, then going to Vegas is always, you don't need much of an excuse.
right.
But, to make it a mission to hey man,
To get him in gear.
that kind of always just had my eye on him. And it's just like,
Well, again,
it'll be interesting to see because, he won't be there next year.
yeah. I like Jonathan Kaminga, by the way, if Trajan Langdon is listening. And if we can get him for a song, I'll take him.
I think he want a lot of money.
Well, he ain't getting a lot of money.
Yeah, he wants a lot
If
of
we can
money.
get him for a
'Cause
song.
remember, he turned down like 120 from the Warriors.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, you ain't getting that if you come to Detroit, man. But
Yeah, he turned down 120.
we got good food and good strip clubs. You know what I'm saying? Not that I want you thinking about the strip club. I don't want you to become the next Winter Soldier.
Right.
But listen, man, I like Jonathan Kaminga. I think
he'd
Jonathan,
be a good piece.
yeah,
piece
I'm
here
like
for
he is untapped potential, and I just don't believe that Steve Kerr has very much interest in developing young players. I think that he'll probably be gone, when Draymond and Steph leave. I don't think he's going to stay, like Jerry Sloan to coach the next crop of young guys. I think he's going to move on because they just haven't developed any young players. I mean, let's just call it what it is. They've done very little in the way of developing young guys.
I mean, but they drafted 3 Hall of Famers.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, and I would ride them till the wheels fell off too.
Right.
Of course.
So it's like, is that the prior? Because I mean, again, these were higher. Well, Draymond was a 2nd-round pick, but I mean, at the end of the day, they kind of developed under that watch.
Yeah, I mean, but
Steve Kerr's watch.
yeah,
And I mean, James Wiseman is, he's a Fabergé egg. He's fragile, and
yeah.
I mean, that's not Steve Kerr's fault.
No, nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope, it's not. I had high hopes for Wiseman, but
I thought that he was going to be a steal.
Yeah.
I thought, like, eventually it would be like Poole, Wiseman,
yep.
Kuminga, and like Moses Moody. Moses Moody is who he is. He's slow on
Yep.
defense. He tries on defense. He's slow. And when his
Yep.
shot hitting, he'll get you like 9 to 13 points.
Yeah, I agree.
You know
I'm
what I'm
like, yeah,
saying?
Moses Moody is not a piece to build around though. Like they in 2 decades.
But that's a number 7 draft pick.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. In
Right.
2 decades, because I'm thinking
But some
about
guys just aren't good.
yeah, this is understandable.
like,
But the thing about it is we talked about Kawhi, and I understand that the Spurs is a high standard when you're talking about having a good team for
Right.
nearly 2 decades and developing a young player
Right.
who is a franchise piece.
Right.
I understand that I'm not talking about, just putting together an erector set.
Right, I get you.
For all of my older people who know what an erector
Right,
set is,
right.
this is that's a throwback reference.
But even with Kawhi went out on his own to go reach out to Kobe Bryant.
And I'm going to agree with you on that because
know
I
what I'm
have to
saying?
be consistent. I did say when Bronny went to the Lakers that the NBA is not really a development league. Player development is on the player.
Like he went and got it.
I agree. Yeah. So I do have to stay consistent in my thinking. So I do believe that. I'm like, you don't come to the
But
NBA
we
for
still
more
want
development.
Jonathan Kuminga. Like, don't like for
Yeah,
cheap.
that's what I said. No,
cheap.
yeah, like if we can get Jonathan Kuminga for a song,
cheap.
I'm with that, man. So that's the Warriors and Minnesota. Obviously, we talked a lot about the Warriors, but shout out to
Yeah,
Minnesota.
the team that actually
Yeah,
won.
they handled their
you know.
business. Anthony Edwards had some very nice games down the stretch of the series. He had a big second, had like 31 in the second
Yeah,
half of game. What was that, game 4? So, no, I mean, they showed up and showed out. I don't want to make it all about.
Yeah, shout out, because you know what? I've in the past, like Julius Randle to me was a winter soldier too.
I agree.
Like Julius Randle,
Him and Carl Towns.
Jay
man.
Black, let me know how you feel about that. But Julius Randle was heavy. Like
Yeah,
Julius,
he was. He was
like-
heavy. Yeah,
like-
second team All
like, he
NBA
got
during the
some-
season.
He got some kills.
yeah,
Like,
and then 0 for 12 from 3 in the
like,
playoffs.
He's got some winter soldier moments. So, again,
he
and like I
played
said,
great.
Draymond, you can't be wolfing, guaranteeing chips. And I'm talking about Julius was torching.
Yeah, he had a
torching him.
triple double in there.
Efficient
Yeah,
games.
he was, yep.
Efficient. Banging the glass hard.
Yeah, he looks motivated.
Shoulder in the chest with a little chicken wing golf, get you some and one activity. I mean,
And I'll even give some
I
love.
liked all that.
Give some love to the guy who he was traded for. Carl Anthony Towns is typically, this is the time of year, he's a winter soldier as well. This is
Yeah,
the time of year where
yeah.
you stop hearing from him.
Yes.
And I have to give him credit. He's had some nice games. He does disappear for long stretches of the game, but he always seems to make a contribution, and he got to stay out of foul trouble. But otherwise, he's been very good, so I will also give him that credit as well.
One point I wanted to add it to about the Wolves I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think Anthony Edwards has like played his best
Oh, absolutely.
ball
He's
yet.
24 years old, just a
No,
kid.
I mean I'm just talking about in terms of towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was playing better. I think he's kind of ramping up in the
Yeah.
playoffs is what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
I think he's trending to play even better. Like as I was watching the Warriors series, like you say, he was, kind of starting slow,
Yep.
but it's like you kind of see his game evolving
Yeah.
in
He can
real
do
time.
what he wanna do.
Like in real time. Like you see And I think he shouted out, working after the Olympics with Steph. He said he started like getting shots up and working on his three ball. I think he led the NBA in three-pointers made this season.
Yes, he did. Yep.
But he came into the league as an athletic, physical freak. But you watch his footwork. His footwork is approaching like elite status.
No, man, yeah.
You get
Ant-Man is a major problem.
But then you look at last night, 9 assists in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh man, Ant-Man is a major problem.
And none of it looks
I'm
forced.
bullish on Anthony Edwards.
None of
man.
it looks forced.
It's
all
his game smooth and easy.
It's all downloading.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's organic. Like
The only criticism that I have of him is that he doesn't play downhill enough.
right.
Like because he could really terrorize defenses if he was looking to go
But I
all
think,
the time.
you know what though? I still think as good as he is, I still think sometimes he still sees the game fast. He's that good.
Yeah.
Where I think he's still kind of like he ain't had his Neo yet. Like he ain't stopped the bullets from flying yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
People
yeah.
keep ready to crown him. His Neo moment's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. I'm like, man,
I
this-
feel it with this kid. Like
That dude is a
he's-
nuclear athlete, man, and yeah, he just scratching the surface of
Yeah.
what he can actually do. Let's move on, man. Let's talk about this OKC and Denver series to
Yeah,
round out our
tonight.
playoff series. Where you see that series, man? Is it over tonight, or is Jokic gonna go crazy and push this thing to a game 7?
Well, here's the thing. Jokic can go crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the Thunder can still win.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So the Oklahoma City Thunder, I mean, we both pretty much picked them to win it all.
Yes, I picked them to win the title, and I'm sticking with that.
Like very early in the season.
In the season, yeah.
Like, pre-Chet injury, hip injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a win tonight would just really reinforce to me that they're ready.
Yeah.
You know what I think there still might be a little bit of, are they going to play with their food? Like,
Mhm.
are they still young? Because the thing about it, they've been meeting the challenge.
Yeah.
They and stemming the tide a lot in this series, like especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like they've drug a lot of these games from defeat in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
even though they pilfered one too.
Yeah.
Like
But
the series should be over.
Yeah, but it kind of shows a growth in terms of the mental toughness.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They didn't
So,
let that impact them for game 2. They came on out and handled.
like
their
you don't
business.
see you don't see the same guys in foul trouble.
Right.
Little things like that young teams can kind of let a ref get in their head,
Yeah.
or a crew get in their head type
Yep.
of deal. So I think tonight, I think the first half for them, if Denver keeps it within 3 possessions in the first half, I think, they can make it interesting. But I got a feeling OKC.
It's coming out with the fire in the
I
belly.
got a feeling Shea and the gang.
Yeah, they coming out with fire in
I
their
think
belly.
Shea and the gang wraps it up tonight.
I don't have anything to add to that. Oh, let's switch gears a little bit to NFL. Lions, their schedule came out today.
Yes.
It's tough. We got the NFC East
Yeah.
and AFC
NFC
North,
Yep.
which is, we have to go back to Baltimore. And the last time we was in Baltimore, we got de-pantsed by like 25 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson has still lost a grand total of 1 start against NFC opponents in his career.
Yep.
That dude is murder on NFC opponents. So that's the one game that stuck out to me. But at least it's early. If I
Right,
wanted to go
right.
to it, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, if I feel like going out to Baltimore, I'm interested in that game at the Commanders.
Yep.
Obviously, that
Oh,
rematch.
the get back.
Yeah, we need some
Retaliation,
get back.
revenge, and get back.
Yes.
Shout out to Daz.
Yep, we need some get back. But yeah, man, give me your impressions of the schedule, man. I don't want to monopolize the floor.
I'm interested to see when we play Cleveland, who will be the starting quarterback.
Exactly, yeah. And we play them here. I
Yeah,
was
and
very
said
excited
that-
to see
I
that.
said,
I'm like,
said, dang, I might have to get down
Oh,
there
oh
for
yeah.
that one.
Oh yeah. I'm in that thing.
Yeah, I think
I'm
I
in
think we'll
that
be
thing.
like official by then,
Yeah.
so we might be a little closer than close.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
You
Yeah.
dig? But yeah, I'm interested in that one. The Steelers is always, that's in December, I believe,
Yep.
December 21st.
Yes.
So that was a matchup that I had circled as well. Baltimore again.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson is just murder on NFC opponents.
Yeah,
I can't stress that enough. I told a guy that when they went to San Francisco last year, he was like, "Man, I think San Fran gonna do." I said, "The dude just don't lose to the NFC, bro." I'm
No.
like, you could. That's the easiest money, man. Is when you see Baltimore playing the NFC opponent, take Baltimore on the money line. Put the car, and the
Yeah.
house on it. This dude ain't lost. He hasn't lost in years to an NFC opponent. I'm talking about years, and he's not winning by a touchdown.
Nah.
They are depantsing these teams. Take Baltimore in the points. I just said money line. Take Baltimore and whatever points they land, because they are throttling NFC opponents. They not just beating them, 17-10.
No, it's showtime at
It's
the Apollo.
35-10. It's 35-17. They just blasting NFC teams. That is uncanny to me. That Lamar Jackson just hammers these NFC teams. Now, hopefully, as a Lions fan, hopefully we can break that streak.
Yeah, man.
of straight wins over the
again,
NFC.
man. And like I said, we'll definitely talk more about the
Oh,
Lions,
absolutely, yeah.
as
As
the
things
days
progress,
get
yeah.
warmer.
Yeah, I don't want to go too football heavy,
Right.
but the schedule did come out, so I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
wanna
for
throw-
sure. Yeah, but those were the two that really stung out to me. Like, I'm like, yeah. I wonder who's gonna be starting under center for Cleveland.
Yep.
And I always love a good matchup against the Steelers.
Yeah.
So going into it, of course, we knew the schedule was gonna be a mofo
Yep.
because we had the best record in football.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah,
it's
we got a
like-
number one schedule, so
So it's like, hey man, do we do we want to just win the division and just call it a day again?
yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Just win the division, get in there, and just raise Cain once we get in.
Man, let's let's circle back to the Giannis thing just for a minute.
Yeah,
Because I know that we talked about the Warriors as a potential destination. Where else do you think he could land? He could end up. I mean, what's your instincts telling you?
well, again, back to the lottery. As soon as I saw that San Antonio had the
that's
second
right.
pick, I'm like, oh, well, hell. So they can have their choice of, well, who do you want? You want Castle? You want
Right, you can have anybody but Wemby.
Yeah, you want De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, Devin
you want
Vassell, yeah.
You want De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle?
Yeah.
And the number 2 pick
Yeah,
for Giannis? And our first round pick next year? I mean, you get what I'm saying?
Giannis and Wemby.
I mean,
you get nothing at the rim, though.
nothing
Like-
at the rim. You can't get nothing in between because
what
they
I'm
move
saying.
their feet.
Yeah, I'm
like, dude, both of them. I literally seen Giannis like go full court in like 4 dribbles.
Yeah. No, that's insane. Like,
Like,
the lane is going to be shut down. Like, you better bring your 3 ball when you go to San Antonio, because there's no room in the paint for you to go up with anything in between.
And with El Jefe
Hell,
upstairs,
Yeah.
Greg Popovich, does he even like turn that down? The thought of that, you do everything. I think you make every phone call you can to make that happen.
Well, I agree. I'm, like if
Hell, I ain't even a Spurs fan, and I want to see that shit.
yeah, I do. Just because
The intrigue alone.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like,
just
what-
because it's interesting.
It's like Space Invaders.
Yeah,
like,
we rooting for topics, so you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like,
exactly.
I'm always rooting for good topics. That'd be a great topic, and just to see that dynamic
man,
play
the
out on the
freaks
court.
come out at night.
Yeah,
Bruh,
indeed, man. Put a few shooters around them, man, and watch out. That's that's the offensive game plan. A few shooters on the perimeter, man, and those 2 controlling the paint.
You had Danny Green coming out of retirement, like, hey, this TV thing was sweet. But,
Right, yeah.
I
Let me hit
I
some
got
corner
friends.
threes, man.
I got friends in San Ann. You dig me? Yeah, that'd be crazy. But I think because they're the Lakers, I guess we have to mention the Lakers.
They have no draft
I know,
capital.
but like, don't you like? Ain't it like mandatory that you have to mention them in every
No.
like big free agent?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, I don't want to. The Lakers can't do it. I'm like, man,
But wait a minute, they could trade Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent and the Kobe of the
see,
Ozark.
this is when we
and
need a ringtone, a dial tone
and,
side effect. Ain't nobody taking that.
and who else they gonna
Right.
patchwork up? Just like send
dog.
over. I mean, that's what they say though.
Me as Milwaukee Bucks executive, Nico Harrison don't work here, though. Try again, okay?
Dude, Laker fans is like putting it together in their head.
Man,
that
it can't happen.
They can make it happen. Like,
And because
they
I
like,
think
look,
they
they'll
traded their 2020. They had one tradable pick,
Yeah.
and they included it in the Luka
they
trade. I'm
did.
like, they had one tradable pick in
they like,
2029.
look, we can get Giannis and KD.
Man. You
Like,
might
they be on
KD
that
might be more of a possibility, but Giannis, get that out your head. They gonna want at least 3 or 4.
But
first
on
round
the
picks.
serious tip, Dallas would be in play. You would think.
I would think so.
I mean, why would you not entertain it? I mean, Giannis and AD and Kyrie.
I know, yeah, that's
I mean, that ain't too bad.
yeah. Again, that's controlling the glass. You might want somebody to stretch in there with KD, but KD don't want to play the 5. He's happy to be back at his.
I mean,
position.
you can. I was trying to address your shooting question. You get more open looks for Pat Connaughton. It'd be all right.
Yeah, say saying.
Yeah, you get Patty C out there. You dig me?
Yeah. And then what about
Miami,
Dame?
of course.
What does that do for Dame if Giannis leaves? In the event that he's not there to start the season. So of course Dame got an Achilles rupture as well.
Yeah, get well soon, Dame.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of time to himself. So he may want to find out where all the local bars is in Milwaukee. 'Cause life's gonna suck for him if Giannis leaves. Because you pretty much just left a Portland situation to come to the Midwest, and I just ain't gonna speak bad on the city of Milwaukee, but it's the city of Milwaukee. You weighing that versus the city of Portland, that I'm pretty sure Dame Lillard at this stage of his career probably didn't want to weigh those two ends against the middle.
And then Dame is a god in Portland.
Right.
He's very well respected, very well loved. That's where he, got most of his accolades. He spent his prime years, and now you're
gonna
stuck
be
in
there
there.
stuck where the organization's greatest player potentially leaves.
Yeah. Yep.
And in terms of what Dame's accomplished there, he's not bigger than Fonzie in Milwaukee.
Right. Yeah. No.
So it's just like,
Yep. No, you're right.
that's tough, man.
Yeah, that
Because he
is.
can't. The back end numbers on his contract is stupid, so he can't come in woofing,
Yeah, no.
demanding no movement. Really,
Talk about insult to injury.
Yeah,
Pun intended.
because
now
you get what I'm
this
saying.
level-
Like, he's got to hope that he has a good relationship with the people upstairs.
Yeah.
And they have a real conversation where Dame will probably be like, I don't want to end my career. This wasn't the situation that I thought I was coming into.
Of course.
When I got here, is there a way to accommodate me to a better, more ideal? However, him and his agent packaged that. Because that's the only outcome I see. Because staying in Milwaukee without Giannis, you ain't contending for nothing but lottery balls and play-in percentage.
Let me tell you something, Dame. That's the high level overview. Get comfortable in Milwaukee, bro.
Damn,
The
you think
kind
he's
of
stuck?
the kind of money he just
Like
ruptured
I
his
said,
Achilles.
I
Are you
know,
trading
man.
for him?
Hey, man.
Again, get Nico Harrison on the line. You might be able to.
Nico might be like, hey, man, Kyrie and Dame.
After an Achilles rupture, he's 34, 35 years old.
I think, Dame's 34, I believe.
Yeah, he got a huge contract that still got years on it.
I mean, heavy. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's got like them last 2 years. I think he's owed like 60.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he got a big contract with years left on it.
Lord. I mean,
Who's gonna get and you're gonna need to see a full season of him playing at a high level after the Achilles rupture to even be interested.
the
in
Charlotte Hornets?
maybe, but if you the GM of Charlotte, you gonna give up any young assets?
LaMelo want to leave. through a little 3-team deal. You know, the Phantom Anonymous 3-team deal
Right.
that all these NBA insiders always dream up.
Yeah.
Potential 3-team, and they never mentioned like the 3-team.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, man,
But
I
you
don't
think,
know.
but you feel he's stuck.
I do.
I mean, I'm leaning towards
Yeah,
that as well.
I do.
Yeah,
For the
I'm
next
leaning towards that as well.
next season,
All the math says it.
and probably one after that,
Yeah, until the team's ready to backload, to dump some money.
or until he can show that he can play a full season looking like Dame.
Dang, yeah.
I'm like, because after an Achilles rupture, no GM is gonna be like, yeah, just send him on over straight after the rupture. Like, no,
Right.
we gonna want to see, because that's never happened
And
before.
Achilles tough, man.
It is.
34,
It's
and-
hard to come back. That's what
and
I'm
he's-
saying.
And you know, he's closer to 6'1" than he is 6'3".
He is.
You know.
And right, like his paint, his in the box scoring, pause, was never that good anyway, right? So
that's
I'm
tough.
like,
That's tough, man.
yeah, I'm like,
That's
so
tough. That
you talking
sucks.
about a long range shooter,
That sucks.
because it's not like when Kevin Durant ruptured his Achilles and came back, but Kevin Durant is a 3-level scorer.
Yeah, for sure.
If his 3 wasn't
Four.
falling, real talk.
four.
Yeah,
Four,
he can go. So he can go. In the paint, he can rebound. He can do other. He can block some shots. He can do some other things. I'm not sure that Dame has much more to offer if he can't get lift on his long range shot.
If it Michael Redd all over again.
I mean, I think Michael Redd was a lot younger though, but it could be, man.
Because what I mean that to say is, let's remind some folks who don't know how cold Michael Redd
Yeah, Michael
was.
Redd was a monster.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
But he
Like-
got hurt, yeah.
Like injuries robbed Michael Redd and robbed us
Yeah.
basketball fans of Michael Redd, because Michael
course.
Redd was a bad mofo
Yeah,
for
he was.
Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? So, I hope Dame can recover, but I mean their situation in terms of what he came there for, in terms of competing, that's out the window.
It is.
Yeah, that's gone.
I think it was out the window when they hired Glenn, myself.
Well, I mean, don't get me started on that dude. I mean, when you're Glenning, you're Glenning. Definitely not winning.
Man, let's switch topics real quick, man. Michael Jordan is said he's going to join the NBC Sports team
Yeah.
as a special contributor. Is that how they termed it? I believe they said a special contributor, which I assume means that he's going to give some commentary on the games. I'm kind of excited to see the NBA back on NBC, by the way. Just for nostalgia reasons.
Yeah.
You want to hear that
They,
John
they,
Tesh.
they pulling out the John Tesh. They AI in my man's voice that used to do. They said, no, we taking it. We bringing that old.
Yeah,
thing
and I love it, man. I grew up on the NBA on NBC, so that I'm all here. I'm here for the nostalgia. But how do you think Mike is going to contribute? Do you think you think he's going to conduct interviews, or you think he's just going to strictly be an analysis? An analyst. Sorry, y'all. This is not water in my cup. So.
Well, it's water in mine. But nonetheless, this is part 2 of Tinfoil Kufi time.
Okay.
Because Michael Jordan is back on TV because the jig is up, Clutch.
Oh, Clutch
And-
Sports.
Oh, yeah, all this media narrative driven, he's had enough. Because the thing about it, it has become, I think Michael Jordan, and this is my opinion, and if you don't like it, I got 2 words for you. But I think Michael Jordan, if he's been paying attention,
Yeah.
kind of sees the conversation that's out and circulating
Yeah.
around eras.
Yep.
And like if you've ever heard Michael Jordan talk about that particular conversation,
Yeah. He has ultimate respect
he
for
always
other
treats it with reverence.
Yep.
And he never makes himself bigger than the game.
Nope.
If you ever watch any of his interviews after a win, or a championship, he always talks about he damn near ends every one of his sentences with the game of basketball. Like, and how you speak shows how you feel about something.
Right.
So he has always had a reverence
Yeah.
for basketball itself and what it is. So I think he has a problem.
You mean to tell me he lost sleep when if him and Scotty got knocked out of the playoffs?
I yeah.
You he didn't say it was 8 other guys out there. You don't think he said that?
I know he didn't show up with a cast on his hand
Like
5 games later.
Right.
Well, I really did it on the
broke
whiteboard
my
game
wrist.
1. It was game 1. It was game 1. Bro, you was doing push-ups at halftime game 3. My hand was broke. Shut up. But anyway, I digress. But because that conversation, that narrative that's happening, a lot of the casualty are his peers.
Right. Correct.
And
Yes, they've marginalized an entire generation of basketball players
It's
because he
like-
dominated.
it's like, dude, Patrick Ewing doesn't have an NBA championship. The only reason is because he wasn't better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That's it. We already know he wasn't better than Hakeem Olajuwon, but he could have won without ever meeting Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, they went to 7.
If
in
he
that
was
series.
better than Michael Jordan. And
Yep.
if John Starks would have showed up, they'd have won.
Yep.
And John Starks will tell you that.
Yeah.
You know, that ain't me ragging on him. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But because Michael Jordan, again, was so good, there's a hindsight view of his era where it's like, oh, man, well, he sucked.
Right.
Because, you know, he wasn't as good as Bron. No,
Yeah.
that's not how this works.
Right.
That's not how this goes. That's like saying we see that Bron isn't that much better or wasn't that much better than Carmelo Anthony or that much better than Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
We've seen Kevin Durant beat him mano for mano, super team versus super team, like outplay him twice. Like we've seen that.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan didn't have an equal, but that's a testament to how good he was,
I was
not
gonna
how
say,
bad the players
It's
he was.
called dominance.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not saying how bad that the players were around him. Like Shaq lost to Tim Duncan in '99 and
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah.
Before they won in
99.
2000.
Yep.
But in '98 was the lockout year. But that '98 season, Tim Duncan used to give Shaq hell.
Oh yeah,
get
I
what-
remember
you get-
when
you get
I
what I'm
remember
saying?
the game where Shaq said he was going to guard Tim Duncan to start the game, and Tim Duncan scored 11 straight points to start the game.
get
They
what I'm
called timeout, and
So
Shaq
it's
never
like-
guarded him
Like
again.
your
Tim
like your-
Duncan
your
gave him
favorite
them
guys,
fundamentals.
Your favorite guys, like all caught the business. So I think that Michael Jordan coming back, whatever contribution that he's going to have to the NBC,
Yeah.
I think it's to change the gravity of the conversation of how we talk about eras of the game. I think that is his purpose. I think that's what he had in the back of his mind. If I could, venture a guess.
Yeah, that's actually a good hypothesis. I'm one of the people who believe that all of the narratives, the clutch sports narratives, because we agree that they have infiltrated and infested the many arms of the media.
Yeah.
With the sole purpose of making LeBron James's GOAT argument. And we all know who the culprits are. I'm not going to start naming names, but we know who they are. We know that the purpose has been to bolster LeBron's GOAT argument. But see, I think nothing is more of a testament to how great Michael Jordan was than that. I think that every time they try to discredit him, I think every time they try to run down his accomplishments, they essentially try to weaponize his dominance.
Right.
They have weaponized it. They like, yeah, you were so dominant that
That's a
everybody
perfect
else
encapsulation.
must have sucked. Like, no. That's why they talk about LeBron's competition all the time, because competition only matters when you don't dominate.
Yep.
Okay, he was a bus driver. I made him look like a bus driver, though. He wasn't looking like that guy.
He was 29.5 a game against all the other teams.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right, yeah. Like, yeah, he could. And that's my point. I'm like, they have taken Michael Jordan's dominance and weaponized it, but there's no greater homage that can be paid. That's why even with them doing all of that, LeBron, you can count on one hand and I'm talking about out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of polls of media members, current players, former players, current executives, former exec, all of the polls, everybody picks Michael Jordan over him. And that's why they got that machine.
Yeah. So like imagine Michael Jordan at a panel. It's like Michael Jordan, who is it gonna be? Maria Taylor, Vince Carter,
Yeah.
Dirk, Noah, forgot his last name.
Yeah.
You know, all of those guys, right? And they talking about, and Michael Jordan sitting there. Oh man, you know, and Giannis averaged 250 in that.
That's insane.
You can feel that way, but I promise you ain't saying it on the air.
Right.
With Mike sitting there.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. And if you do good, we gonna tune in and see the aftermath.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like I'm here. I hope you do.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, that's
You
why
know
I'm like, yeah,
I
right.
hope you do.
So you think it's gonna be a say it in my face type attitude?
Niggas got to tighten up. It's gonna be a lot of tightening up. Like all of this signifying and this bootlicking. Trust and believe. Like it gonna tighten up.
Yeah.
I'm interested too. Before we get out of here, will he cross? Is he gonna cross paths with Barkley?
Yeah. I know. Are they still? They still have a thing?
I don't know if they've reconciled. I mean, I just think Mike just kind of just doesn't consider him anymore, whereas Barkley is willing to just talk about any and everything.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I figure they'll be in close proximity now, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that will be. I'm very interested. Even though I think that Inside the NBA is going to ESPN.
Okay.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
I'm not sure. I gotta do a deep dive.
I believe they're going to ESPN, but to your point, they'll still be in spaces together. NBA All-Star Weekend, you know. But I'm sure that
Mike's a part of the media now.
Of course, yeah. He's a media member, so yeah, man.
And somebody's gonna be messy enough to suggest it. I know.
Yeah, indeed. I just want to see, man. I would love. Somebody said that, you know, sit him and LeBron down together.
I'd love to see it.
I'm in. Yeah, listen, I'm
love to
tuning
see
in. I'd love to see that conversation.
Oh man,
how that goes?
Who would moderate that? Ahmad?
Right. I don't know.
It could be Ahmad and Rich Paul.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Real quick, rapid fire, man. Shedeur best quarterback in mini camp so far. Neither one of us is surprised by that, right?
Yeah, water's wet.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and Tiger's still hot.
Yeah, Tigers and Mets,
rolling.
best records in baseball.
I was gonna say best record in baseball now. It was
Mets.
second best, I think. Last time we brought that to
28 and 15.
Yep, and playing great.
Going out to Toronto for a 4-game set against the Blue Jays.
Yep, and you know,
sweep that boy.
Yeah, baseball is interesting. You know, the weird things do happen in a 162 game season, but
hey man, whatever that pixie dust is that's on Javi Baez, let's keep it going.
Hey man, Javi Baez is he's turned over a new leaf. I can't believe how well he's playing. Man, he had 1 foot out the door last year.
Looking like Roy Hobb.
Right.
Hear me?
Not the natural.
I'm just saying.
Let me see. Man, I think we covered it all, man. You know, finally we got through everything on the agenda.
Yeah.
I think we talked enough about Draymond Green. I love Draymond Green, man.
But the whole angry black man thing.
Where he stormed off.
Bro, listen. You know what? I understand where he's coming from, but here's the thing, Draymond. To the majority of people who only see you on the basketball court in a league that's 80% black, you're the angriest of all of those black guys.
Yeah, that's real talk. Right. I mean, you arguing, you antagonizing.
The most frequent.
Yes, and listen, bro, if people understand you're a good family man and you love your family
100%.
And you're a good community member, you know what I'm saying? But listen, you chose to play the bad guy.
Right.
Don't get buyer's remorse. That's all. Don't get buyer's remorse. You chose to play the bad guy. We understand that that's the villain role that you are playing.
You're too intelligent and too influential to not be accountable. Yeah. That's what frustrates the hell out of me, out of Draymond.
Yeah.
You know, like I hate well-articulated ignorant shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like Draymond have put together a well-articulated, you know, crying fit.
Right.
I'd be like, no, man, you fucked up.
Right.
own that, move on. Like, we get it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
sometimes he likes to just get indignant about certain things, and I don't understand it. Where his intelligence like demands more to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
So,
I'm with that.
hopefully he grows out of it, because I always root for Draymond. He's a
Yeah.
Michigan guy.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm a Draymond guy, man.
He's a
So
Michigan guy. So
on that note, we won't be here next week and the week after. I'm gonna be traveling.
yes, sir. Safe travels, my
I
brother.
appreciate it. But again, continue to check the social sites, continue to check the timelines. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And when you hit that bell notification, hit all, so that you get updated every time that we post a short, every time that we go live, every time we add something to the timeline. And on that note, man, unless you have anything that you want to say to close,
Nah, man. Folks, be good, man. Be good to each other.
yes, everybody has one podcast. Peace.